going to show you how to make these really simple little salt dough tree decorations. And the ingredients are quite easy. All you need is some flour, some plain flour, some table salt and some water. And you're going to measure them out in a cup. So it could be a cup of any size. I've just got a plastic drinking cup, so you can make as much or as little as you want. Into your cup you pour the flour, the plain flour first, and you don't have to be too exact with the amounts, which is nice. And then pour that into a mixing bowl. Your next ingredient will be your table salt. So you measure out half a cup of table salt, and that just goes straight in on top of the flour. And then your final ingredient is the water, and you add half a cup of water. As simple as that. So that's 1 cup of flour, half a cup of salt, half a cup of water. Get a spoon or a spatula I've got here and give it a good mix. And as you start mixing it, you'll see that it comes away from the side of the bowl, and eventually you'll get a nice lump of dough like this. So keep working at it until you can take it out of the bowl in one lump. You may need to add a little bit more water, you may need to add a tiny bit more flour, just so you get the right consistency, because we're going to roll this out, so not too sticky. You can add more flour as you roll it out onto your surface anyway. There we go, mine is just about ready. I'm going to take that out and we're going to pat it down so that it's ready to be rolled. Flour your surface really well so that it doesn't stick. And a good idea is also to put flour on your rolling pin so it doesn't stick. So that's all ready. Pop your dough on, give it a little roll around, get it covered, and you're ready to roll it. So we're going to be rolling our dough out to about 1/2 centimetre thickness, or if you want your decorations to be a bit larger than that, 1 centimetre. You'll just have to bake them a bit longer in the oven if you want them to be larger. So now you'll need some Christmassy pastry cutters. I've got a Christmas tree and a star here. If you haven't got any shapes, you could just make your own. Cut out circles, snowmen, star shapes, whatever you want. Press your shapes down in your dough, and there you go. You've got your first decoration shape. If your dough gets a bit sticky around your cutters, just cover them in flour, and then the pastry will come away a little bit easier. So I've got a couple there, and keep on going through your dough until you've got lots more shapes. You can roll it up and roll it out again, just so that you've got more dough to cut your shapes with. So I've done quite a lot here, and we're ready to put them onto our baking tray. So I've already prepared mine, just oiled it a bit and then put some greaseproof paper on the top so that your shapes will come away nice and easily. You'll next need a cocktail stick, or maybe a wooden kebab stick, but anything that you can use to poke a hole into your shapes. So this is the hole that we'll use when we tie some cotton or thread, or maybe some coloured wool, whatever we need to hang our decorations on the tree. So for each shape, make that hole. You might just need to wiggle the stick around a bit so it's big enough, because we're going to have to thread something through it. And do that for each one of your shapes. And now your shapes are ready to go in the oven. You need to preheat your oven, or you can put your tray in while you're cooking something else, which will save on your energy bills. So pop them in for about 2 to 3 hours, depending on the size of your shapes. And ours have come out, they're ready to paint now, and you'll know they're done because when you pick them up, they're fairly solid, they've dried and they've cooled, they're nice and hard, and they're ready to have some paint put on them. So I've prepared a table with some newspaper, and here's my shape which is all solid and ready for some painting. So as well as your prepared shapes, you're going to have to gather together a few other pieces of equipment. So we'll pop those to one side. So I'm going to use one of these plastic takeaway tubs, they're quite useful. And for our paint, the best thing that you can use is acrylic paint. And they sell this at craft shops and DIY shops and toy shops. So acrylic just stays a little bit better on the salt dough. But if you can't get hold of that, don't worry. You can use ordinary poster paint and mix it with some PVA glue. That just makes it a bit shinier and helps it to stick a bit better to the surface of your decorations. So you can mix those together. This is some different types of thread. So I've got cotton, I've got some shiny parcel tape, or you could use some coloured wool, whatever looks nice on your tree. I've also got some glitter here. Now, a word about glitter. Don't go out and buy any, because a lot of people now realise that glitter eventually finds its way into the ocean, and that's not great. If you've already got some glitter at home, that's fine. Use it up, but don't put it down the sink. Use it on some newspaper that you can put into the bin. So it's really up to you whether you want to use glitter. If you've got it, it's going to have to go in the bin at some point. But remember, don't get it too wet and use it on some newspaper that you can put out with your rubbish. So we're ready to go now and paint our shapes. So choose the first one that you want to decorate. And we're going to make this a white star with some glitter on it. So I've prepared some white poster paint and I've mixed that with some PVA glue, and I'm going to cover my star all over with paint. And now that's all covered, you'll find it's a little bit wet, so pick it up quite carefully. Now you could carry on painting it and put other colours on it, or if you wanted to make this one a glittery star, while it's still wet, you could get your little pot of glitter and you can sprinkle it straight onto the paint so that it sticks. So if I put some red glitter now, that'll just dry onto the star and you won't need to put any glue on it. And we'll just do both sides because it's going to dangle from a tree and that'll look very lovely. So that one is the glittery white star, and we finished that one. And now I'm going to paint my green Christmas tree. So I've used some green poster paint and added to that about 2 squirts of PVA glue and just mixed it all together. And you'll see as I'm painting it that the paint is quite shiny, but that just helps it to stick better to the dough. I'm using this wooden stick just to help hold my shape in the air so that I can paint it without getting too much paint on my hands. Now they're ready and they're going to go away and dry, maybe for about a day, and then you can paint yours once they're dry. I'm just doing this one while my green paint is still a little bit wet, as you can see, so it's not desperate that you need to dry them beforehand. But I'm just giving my Christmas tree a little bit of white paint for a snowy top and a few little dots of red paint to be baubles. But this is where you can be really creative. Paint your decorations however you want to do it. And there we go. I've prepared mine and they're painted and they're dry. Now we're ready to put some string or cotton or wool or whatever you've got so that you can hang them on your tree. Hopefully the little holes that you made with a cocktail stick will be big enough, and you're just going to need to thread whatever you've chosen to hang them on your tree into the holes. I'm using this stick that we had earlier just to poke it through the hole so that my wool will come out the other side. That's worked quite well. Take the stick out and then I can tie a knot and that'll be ready to hang on my Christmas tree. You could make anything you want. You could make letters, you could make snowmen, you could make little gifts for anyone who might appreciate a little Christmas decoration. So there we are. Get creative and make whatever shapes you want to. You could make your initials, you could make baubles, you could make snowmen. Get everyone in the family to make their own salt dough Christmas tree decoration.